Hey, y'all. I know it's been a month of Sundays, a little bit of forever since I've been here. So, welcome to a brand new episode of Growth Group with Dr. Erica. I have to first say, I'm sorry for being gone so long. I had not meant to take a hiatus that was quite so long, but sometimes you have to practice what you preach. And one of the big things I've been talking about is that I needed not just me, but that everyone needs to make sure to check in with themselves, to ask yourself those questions like self, how am I doing? Self, what do I need? And do the necessary self care or adjustments that are necessary. And what I realized for myself, as they would say back in the day, real talk, is that I need to slow down a little bit, that I needed a quick moment that ended up lasting a little bit to just back off a few things to leave some space for some rest so that I could really do another push. And I always love the words of Trisha Hersey and how she talked about rest as resistance in her book. I love her book, Rest as Resistance. It's phenomenal. And the fact that we get so caught up in this grind culture that sometimes we're just grinding to grind or grinding to the next thing. And at some point, you have to stop and ask what is now. And one of the things I talk so often with my patients and all the people I work with is about present moment awareness. And it's hard to have present moment awareness if you're spinning on a little hamster wheel, just going, and going. And I felt like that's what I was doing. So I needed to cut down. And I'm going to give you a couple things. So as we come in, let you know what I did to slim things down, which ended up being taking a little bit more time off than I had planned from Growth Groove to make sure that I was actually taking care of myself so that I can pour into you in a great way now, but to be able to pour into you for a substantial time in the future. So it's kind of how we needed to work it. I need to make it happen. So thank you so much for coming and welcome to a brand new edition of Growth Group with Dr. Erica. If you do not know me, I am your host, Dr. Ericka. I'm a Harvard trained double board certified psychiatrist and host of the hit podcast, Better with Dr. Ericka. I'm extremely passionate about helping you be better, do better, and live better. I do that through my adult telepsychiatry practice, my speaking, my books, including Fix Your Fairy Tale, A Woman's Guide to a Great Life, Love, and Legacy, and my hit podcast, Better with Dr. Ericka. I do all of that to help people that you show up for work, you show up for your friends, you show up for your family, you show up for everybody but yourself. I do this to help show you how to put you back in your life because, you deserve to be the lead character and the headliner in your story. I don't want you to be in the back being background. Nobody wants to be that. I want you to be, well, I was about to say the Diana Ross, but, depending on what version of history people are looking at. But I want you to be able to be the front. All right. So, you know who I am. A couple housekeeping things. The first thing, if you like the title or you know what's going on, ooh, let's just remix that. How about that? The first thing is, if you know someone that would benefit or would enjoy hearing what we're going to be talking about today, do me a favor and tag them. The next thing, if you know someone, the other option is you can share. Just hit the share button. The last thing is, if you're watching it later, don't even worry about it. Put hashtag in the replay. Hashtag replay. Let me know you were here. I will be happy to see you. Thanks again for coming. As you come in, drop me a little note. Let me know how you are doing and where you are watching from because I just want to know. Inquiry minds want to know. So we talked about I had to slow down and just cut some things out to make sure that I made time for myself. And one of the ways I do this when this really comes up, when it comes up for real, is sometimes I have to look at all of my appointments because just like you, I have appointments all day long. I have patient appointments, meetings. I might, at one point, I was seeing my chiropractor, my therapist, my energy person, my acupuncturist, just a million meetings with my wellness coach, meeting with my trainer, just meetings on meetings and meetings. And I realized that I needed to take a step back and figure out what was essential. And if it wasn't essential, take it off for a second so I could get some rest. So you're getting me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because guess what? I did it. I took that rest. Yes, resistance. I took the rest. And in addition, we're all dealing with the fact that you are adulting. I'm adulting. So adulting takes effort. There's stuff. And also, there's just been so much chaos going in the world. I can't even list it all because it is so much. So today, we talked about how I've always had this knack for looking for inspiration in everyday things. And for me, some of the everyday things is I do watch a little bit of TV. It's one of the ways, numerous ways. I have numerous ways I kind of disconnect and settle back after a busy day. And I'm a psychiatrist, so I spend lots of time listening to people's thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and their problems. So sometimes I need to just unplug to calm down and just to resettle and to put myself in the best place so that I am as emotionally healthy as possible. So one of the things I decided to do is to watch a little Grey's Anatomy. Now, you might be like, there are a million episodes of Grey's Anatomy, Dr. Ericka. Why did you do this to yourself? So let me tell you how it started. So it started with me being curious because I never saw the episode where George died. And I'm like, let me look and see how George died. I want to know. Inquiry minds want to actually see this. Let me go ahead and check it out. And that turned into rewatching from like one or two episodes before George died all the way through. And part of it, I think, is I get intrigued because I have spent so much time in the hospital and realize that what's on TV is very different than what we actually do sometimes. And also, I think looking at all of the interpersonal dynamics is very intriguing for me. So somehow I went down the rabbit hole and watched way too much Grey's Anatomy. But I decided I'd bring all of my rabbit hole moments back to you. But I'm not going to take you all the way down the rabbit hole because one of the things I think that is wonderful about opportunities of looking at kind of how everyday things or pop culture can bring inspiration is, also when people are writing these characters, they're using their own personal knowledge of human behavior. So people react in different ways. And I want to just talk to you about some lessons or some things that I had reminders of while going down my rabbit hole of Grey's Anatomy. And as I said before, just hop in, let me know where you're watching from, and feel free to comment as we go along. So the first thing I noticed is friends matter, because one of the biggest things that you see in this show is all of these interpersonal relationships that are woven with all of these different friendships, be it those original friendships you saw when the show first started with like Meredith, Christina, Izzy, Alex, and George, to ones that you see going forward. And one of the things you often see is that even in the show of how many times these friendships saved people's lives, and when these friendships were there to support each other when things were tough or challenging. And no matter what you do for work, there are days that are more stressful. We're all adulting, we talked about. We've been in a season with a lot of losses and inflation, recession, all kinds of things. So the thing that really why it matters is one of the better seven is support. Is those friendships matter. And sometimes it's really easy to start discounting friendships, especially when we start getting a little bit older, because everyone becomes so focused on becoming partnered in romantic love in this pursuit of this fairy tale. There's not an accident of why my first book was called Fix Your Fairy Tale, A Woman's Guide to a Great Life, Love, and Legacy. But in this pursuit of what we've all been told is this perfect life, the spouse, the kids, the white picket fence, the dog, the great job, all of the things. And in pursuit of that, sometimes, and just in the midst of also being busy, it's easy to lose track of friendships. And the great thing about friendships is those can be lifelong relationships, but they need nurturing. Friendships don't just stay there if you totally neglect them forever. So the first one is friends matter. The second one is mentors and sponsors matter. So when you look at the show, you start with these five surgeons, 5 surgery interns. But as you watch everybody move and grow, and later in the show, people become attendings and they do fellowships and all of these great things, is how can you imagine what some of them would be without Bailey, without Weber, without, well, Maggie when she wasn't extra special. without Amelia when she wasn't extra special. But the thing is that um I'm trying. Hi, Dr. Centrell. Is that those mentors and sponsors matter. That we're not living on an island. We come back to that same principle of the better seven support, is that it's a whole adventure trying to muscle through life, especially your professional and academic career, on your own with absolutely no help. One of the ways a lot of us were gaslit, and I can say this is something that happens a lot, especially in the African American community, is you don't get this peek in to understand that the rest of the world's been networking and making all these connections, and people are moving through with connections or who their family knows or someone they know that helps them move forward. And the thing is without mentors and sponsors to not only learn from, but to help advocate for you and to help you find paths to get to where you need to be without so much heartache and struggle. And sometimes when the path isn't clear or it's a path that's beyond something that people talk about. So you need someone that's going to let you know what's on the inside. And at the end of the day, all of us are looking for ways to get better. The interesting thing is we talk about mentors and sponsors in a professional way, but also I have to be honest. I have people that are mentors when it comes to how I want to live my life. And I'd encourage you to look at things when it not just professionally, but who are some people that share similar values? Who are people have created a life that looks the way you want yours to look? Who are people that have created healthy relationships that look the way you want them to look? So I want to encourage you, as we keep talking about support, to get off that island and remember that sponsors and mentors matter. Number 3 is be present. Every day matters. You know, in the wonderful world of Grey's Anatomy, there's always one surgery away from death. Somebody's always coming in there, either one step away from dying or they die. Makes good TV. It's drama. Real life is, yes, people die. And people die in the hospital. And one of the things we saw in the pandemic is lots and lots of people are dying. But the other thing we see so often, especially because I know most of you listening, I love my teens and my people in their early 20s. I realize that is not the majority of my audience. So a lot of you have lived life long enough to see that people are starting to go away. People are losing parents, people are losing friends, people are losing relatives, people are losing mentors, people are losing colleagues. People don't stay on this earth forever. And the one thing you can think about is a lot of the people, if you think about who you know this passed recently, how many of them do you feel like knew their ticket was about to be punched? And for a lot of people, you just don't know your ticket's about to be punched. So it's so important because every single day matters. But the other thing is, there are so many opportunities for things to happen, things that pop up in your lap, ways the universe gives you blessings and opportunities that if you're present, you will miss them. The person that's having a conversation about something you're interested in that can link with you to give you an opportunity or that you can partner or collaborate with. The person that has the idea of something that you're like, oh my God, I've been thinking about something like that, or I needed something to just give me that last bright eye of what the vision I want for something or my life is. And if you're not present, you're not going to catch it. The other thing is your relationships are going to be so much more meaningful if you're actually present for them. Also, every day you can't get it back. Time is a non-renewable resource. So if you're just spinning around, you're going to miss it. And one of the things you see happen in real life and in fiction is part of the ways we have a lot of regret is just not being present. I can't count how many times I've heard from people when we knew someone that passed. And what's the number one thing people say other than, well, I love them, is you'll hear people start talking about, I thought about calling them, but I didn't. I should have spent more time with someone. I should have done this. I can't believe I didn't go home for the holidays and see my parents. And really being present helps you start heading off all of those unnecessary regrets. Number 4 is purpose makes the hard times better. There are lots of times we all see challenges. And in this show, there are plenty of times where someone worked on a patient, they died, or they thought they were trying to make their attending happy or to celebrate them, and the attending was disappointed, or when, like, for example, we're gonna give a show example, when Joe wanted to adopt Luna, or Owen was trying to get Leo, and all of these things, is that when you know why you're doing it, when things don't go right, it makes it better. When you're working hard, but the work product doesn't come out right, or you had to put together a presentation and nobody was there, or the printer didn't put the program books together, or the internet is janky on the virtual conference, or you were trying to help someone and listening to them, and no matter what you do and how you try to support them, they just aren't trying to hear it, or they're not responding the way you want them to respond, is understanding your purpose makes it easier to move through these challenges. Because the one life lesson that you see everywhere, you see it on the show, but you see it in real life, is that a lot of times those things that we're really looking to be, those things we're really looking to obtain, those things we're really looking to achieve aren't easy and aren't a straight line. And how do you make it through when you start hitting those walls, or you're working hard, but it feels like you are walking into a wall, or doors are shutting, or you feel like you have failed? Is by knowing what your purpose is. And your purpose will give you that extra bit of energy to keep going on, even when things suck. Number 5 is be open to surprises and opportunities. Because one of the things you see so often, and some examples just perusing way too many times on the show, is just little things like Maggie going to that conference and reconnecting with Winston. Had she not been open to surprises and opportunities, they would have never hooked up and had conversations and end up married. Granted, it went a little sideways for a while, but it is what it is. Or when Meredith got a call to go to Minnesota, she would have never ended up working on the Parkinson's disease thing. Um, just in real life, when you never quite know what's going to come around the corner. And if you're not open to an opportunity, one thing you can guarantee is it is not going to happen for you. And one of the things to me that is the most beautiful thing about living is the opportunity for new opportunities, new experiences, and surprises, for when life gives you something great that you didn't even know was coming, that you had no idea was in your vicinity, and then it showed up. I can't count how many happy accidents or great things like that I've experienced. Like having lunch on a patio and running into a friend from college that I had not seen since we graduated, because I decided to take a walk that day and sit in that one seat. Because had I sat inside, I wouldn't have seen them. And it was a wonderful, just a totally wonderful surprise. The amount of times that you pick up the phone and someone's like, "Hey, why don't we get together?" And how much fun I've had, or times where I was super curious about a conference. There was this conference that was called Momentum in Medicine, and I was really curious. I'd heard things about it, but I'm like, the ticket's not that expensive. I'm gonna go. And I ended up going and meeting not only a wonderful and transformative business coach for me, Dr. Dre, but the entire medical mogul community, which has totally changed my life. But the thing is, if you're not open to opportunities and surprises, they're not going to come to you, because even if they show up, you won't recognize them. And you know what? Not only you were created to be great, you were created to be something wonderful. But there are numerous blessings out there. But if we run through life with our eyes closed, or think nothing can get better or nothing can be different, we will miss all the opportunities. Who wants to miss all the opportunities? There's plenty of time for adulting and stress and other things. So let's catch these opportunities and all of these surprises, because they're fun. So we're on a bonus. You ready for a bonus? First bonus is love comes in many form. Oh, wow. Ooh, my bad. Let me fix that. We're going to fix that real quick. All right. It is fixed. So, as we were saying, love comes in many forms. And part of the reason I wanted to bring this up is we were talking earlier about that kind of that fairy tale that you're supposed to find your person, be madly in love, have the greatest time ever, have some kids, have the great job, and everything would be utterly phenomenal. And we have a comment. It says, "True, I had to struggle with being present going towards my career, but I'm committed to my career. But you definitely need balance." Very true. True living is nice, and the surprises are even nicer. They certainly are. And I was curious as well about momentum in medicine, and you are definitely created to be great. Yes, and everyone loves bonuses. Oh, so much support. But one of the things we were just talking about is that love comes in many forms. And the reason that's important to remember is, we keep going back to support. I feel like this particular one with the better 7 is around support. Is that when you're so caught up in love only fitting in certain boxes, and for a lot of people that box is romantic love, or they look at romantic love in maybe family love, but there's friendship love, there's all this kind of love, spiritual love. And love, as human beings, we need love, we crave love, we crave to be seen, we crave to be heard, and we crave and need to be loved. And being open to multiple forms in love means your love bucket has more opportunities to be filled. If you only look at love as, oh my God, I'm falling over, oh, someday my prince will come, all that kind of stuff, well, then you don't have these other opportunities for your love bucket. So if you have not found your ideal partner, your love bucket is dry as a bone. And I do not want that for you. I want you to be able to fill your love bucket a variety of ways. And the last one is sometimes blocks make room for better opportunities. So in the show, you see numerous times where things didn't go right and someone ends up with a better opportunity, or they may learn something about themselves that points them in a different specialty. Because also, if you start looking, just one example is originally Meredith Grey was looking at neuro, and then everything went sideways with that trial. And then she ended up in general, but she did mini livers and all these other things that really revolutionized things. But had that block not happen and she not end up in neuro, she would never created the stuff she did in general. Just using a show example. But the thing is a lot of times is there's this saying, this old school saying that God looks out for babies and fools. There have been times I've been a fool. But the thing is sometimes things happen, or the universe puts things that block you, and it's almost kind of like looking at a maze where there's a block, then you go another direction. And there are times sometimes that something looks like a block or a challenge, but it then actually leads you to something that was better and something that was going to benefit you more and was more of an opportunity. So this is going back to being open, is that being open that just because there's a block or a challenge doesn't mean all is life lost and everything's going to be terrible. So thank you everyone for showing up. I feel the love. Let's do a quick review. If you know someone that needs this, you can share. You know someone that needs to just tag. And the last thing is, if you're watching it later, put hashtag replay in the comments. Let's do a quick review, and then I'm going to get you out of here. Let's see if we can. I feel like me and the internets are not all having fun today. All right, me and the internets are friends again. We're friends. So we're talking about today 5 lessons from Grey's Anatomy from Dr. Ericka's binge watching while she was doing self-care. Because as I said before, sometimes I have to slow things down, do self-care. And for me, sometimes self-care is more than just taking a nap, going to bed early a couple of days, or going to the spa or something like that. Sometimes I have to proactively carve out extra time to rest and recharge, which is what I recently did. So the 5 lessons were: number 1, friends matter. Number 2, mentors and sponsors matter. It is very hard to have the best career you can have and the best relationships on your own. So mentors and let's say spinsters. I've been watching too many K-dramas. mentors, and sponsors matter. Number 3, be present because every day matters. Every day is an opportunity to be great. Every day is an opportunity to have joy. Every day is an opportunity to have love. Every day is an opportunity to grow. And every day is an opportunity to be better because we're all about the better. And it's so important to be present. It also helps you keep from having so many regrets from things you missed or things you did not do. So be present. Number 4 is purpose makes the hard times better. It's a lot harder to make it through. Actually, it's a lot easier to make it through challenges and struggle when you know why you are doing whatever you're doing. If you know why you're working hard, if you know why you're studying, if you know why you're going to deal with a job when some of the people aren't the best, why you may deal with a job when your leadership may not be great, why you may be seeing patients and some of them get mad at you and you feel like you did everything you could, why you're going to deal with your family when they have jumped and done hopscotch on your absolute last nerve. When you're trying to think of and figure out how you're going to make it through those hard times, understanding your purpose and why you were doing it is part of the key to making it happen. Number 5, be open to surprises and opportunities. Bonus 1, love comes in many forms. And the last bonus is sometimes blocks make room for better opportunities. So thank you so much for turning up. Well, you showed up, and I guess we're turning up for this episode of Growth Groove with Dr. Ericka. Thank you so much for showing up. I feel all of the love. I am throwing out hearts. I've been watching too much K dramas. I'm throwing out all kinds of hearts to you because you deserve it and I love you. I appreciate you showing up. I feel all the love. Thank you so much for showing up. If you don't know me or you missed the intro, I'm your host, Dr. Ericka, Harvard trained, double board certified psychiatrist and integrative lifestyle coach. I am on a mission to help you be better, do better, and live better. I do that through my adult telepsychiatry practice, my books, including Fix Your Fairy Tale, A Woman's Guide to a Great Life, Love, and Legacy, my speaking, and my hit podcast, Better with Dr. Ericka. I do all of this to help people like you that show up for work, you show up for your friends, you show up for your family, show up for your community. You often don't show up for yourself. So I do this to help you show up for yourself, to help put you back in your life. So thanks again for coming. Take your left hand, oops, put on your right arm, left. I can't count today. Apparently, I don't know my left from right. Right hand, left arm, squeeze. Give yourself a big hug because you deserve it. And I can't reach you through the screen to give you a squeeze. Thank you so much for being patient while we took a little bit of time off. And I am back. So you can find us here on Tuesdays for Growth Groove with Dr. Ericka on Facebook, YouTube, and the LinkedIn. Also, you are welcome to check out my hit podcast because I'm so excited. Season 5 is going to be coming next month and it is super great. Look for Better with Dr. Ericka on all podcast platforms, or you can go to betterthepodcast.com and find me there. And if you are interested in having Dr. Ericka actually be your doctor, go to goodwinmed.com. So thanks so much for showing up. Thanks so much for being here for me. And thanks so much for showing up for yourself. That's what matters. Until next time, have an even better day.